Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got our first winter storm of the season bringing heavy snow and a big freeze for many, along with a huge pattern flip and the extended range as we'll walk you through the rest of October. So let's take a look at the overall temperature anomalies this morning. And you can see this drastic change unfolding in parts of Canada. That's actually filtered into our northern states this morning, with much colder conditions setting the stage for our big freeze to really funnel down in a good chunk of the central and eastern two-thirds of the U.S. in the coming days, with some very cold temperatures and even snow for some. So let's take a look at the snowpack that's been highlighted on this channel for several weeks. This is an incredible early amount of snow that has actually helped stretch the polar vortex. And that now, along with the teleconnections turning negative, that's an indication it's going to bring that colder air mass and funnel it. And that's actually going to reach all the way down here into our coastal regions by the time we get into Wednesday and Thursday of this upcoming week. So right now, we do have our first winter storm of the season. This highlighted in pink here, up here into the upper Great Lakes, where they're expecting some very heavy snow. Further to the south, we've already got some freeze warnings in place in parts of the purple shaded areas, but all those blue shaded areas, that is your freeze watch, and this will only just expand and extend further south as we get deeper into the middle of next week. So let's highlight that first winter storm of the season and places up here in portions of Marquette. Yeah, guys, this winter storm warning starts to take effect at portions about 8 o'clock this evening, goes all the way and through 11 a.m. on Tuesday. They're expecting some heavy wet snow up here into Monday night, resulting in poor travel conditions, and the total accumulations, we're talking 8 to 16 inches of snow, and some of the higher terrain could pick up 2 feet. 2 feet. This is the middle of October, guys. So yeah, this is going to be some pretty chilly stuff, extending further south as we get into next week. So let's talk about Monday. So as this cold temperatures continue to plunge southbound, it brings the snow. There's the 1033 Arctic high pressure. Further to the south, we had all that severe weather yesterday in portions of Oklahoma and Arkansas, where they've got some pretty large hailstones that fell. Now we had some welcome rains that finally broke the 43-day dry streak in the North Texas area, with some rains that moved in this morning. Those rains just extend further south into central Texas by the time we get it deeper into the day on Sunday, but especially going into Monday. But further to the north, that's where the snow and all the colder air is going to fly underneath that area of low pressure center. That's dumping the very heavy snow into portions of the upper Great Lakes, but some of that snow will actually filter down into portions of the Ohio Valley. So there are your cold temperatures by the time we get into Monday. It really starts to deep and amplify, dragging down that cold air. Now the teleconnections have turned negative. That's gonna shift all the way down into portions of Texas and getting really all the way down into portions of the southeast. And so by the time we get into your Wednesday morning, you're really gonna feel the effect. By far the coldest temperatures of the season, as they will continue to plunge, and they actually extend all the way into portions of Florida, while much of the west and the Pacific Northwest are left with those high and dry and very warm, above average temperatures. So let's talk about the snow extending further south. So by the time we get into Tuesday, into Wednesday morning, as that upper level low will continue to funnel down some of that colder air, yeah, we could be looking at some snowflakes flying into portions of Indiana, Ohio, get into portions of Pennsylvania and upstate New York here, as the rain will move out of Texas and much of the deep south here, as you're just left with those colder conditions. And a lot of the winds are going to be turning light, and radiational cooling is going to be taking place, and that's why those temperatures are going to be dropping like a rock. So there's the snow. So we're talking up to that 22 inches up there in portions of the upper Great Lakes. But further to the south, you can't rule out a dusting or two, and some places could pick up 1 to 3 inches of snow. So portions of Indiana, Ohio, back into Pennsylvania, upstate New York, get into West Virginia here. Yeah, don't be surprised if you wake up and see some snow-covered grassy areas in these areas between now and Wednesday morning, as that cold air will continue to drain out of Canada. Let's talk temperatures by the time we get into Wednesday. So here's your actual temperatures out west. Now, like I mentioned, they're not going to be experiencing that cold blast from these temperatures. Where you are going to be experiencing it is into the central U.S., as that cold air will continue to drain further south. So by the time we wake up on Wednesday morning, October the 19th, yeah, all those red shaded areas, that is freezing, if not below freezing, getting into widespread 20s, even teens for portions of Missouri, getting into Kansas with well into the 20s, even freezing temperatures in parts of Oklahoma. And yeah, this sinks all the way in Texas, folks. This is some cold stuff, even some freezing temperatures into portions of East Texas, getting into Wednesday morning. And even the Dallas-Fort Worth area could be a near record low temperature officially at the airport, all the way down from 1989. You can see the colder plunge extends all the way into Arkansas, getting into portions of Louisiana, getting a freeze into Mississippi, a freeze into portions of Mississippi and parts of Georgia, as that colder air will continue to drain south. So let's take a look at the east. So as we shift eastward, yeah, places in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and into Tennessee start to see those freezing temperatures. Portions of Georgia start to see, some frost. Even portions of Alabama could be looking at their first freeze of the season, as this will continue to drain and funnel south. And as we get into Thursday, it really settles further south. So you're talking a good chunk of Alabama could be waking up with some freezing conditions, and a good chunk of Georgia. So that is some cold stuff. We're talking by the time we get into October 20th timeframe, and even portions of Florida, getting parts of the Florida panhandle below 40 degrees. And when that happens, these iguanas don't stand a chance. You got falling iguanas already possible by the time we get into Thursday morning in portions of Florida, because anytime the temperatures get near 40 degrees or lower, they just basically fall from the tree. They basically become immobilized. And once they get above 40, they'll wake up and they're fine. So they're not dead or anything. But yeah, I mean, we're talking falling iguanas for October 20th in Florida. You know that's some cold stuff, folks. So now let's talk about the rain prospects between now and Thursday. So here's where the rain set up. We got some rains into portions of Southern California. We're going to be adding to some of those rain totals into portions of Arizona, New Mexico. There's the welcome rains that are unfolding in portions of Oklahoma, getting into Texas, where they've been experiencing a massive drought. So all this is just welcome rain. There's the cold front bringing the rain with it over the next couple of days. And most of this is going to be in the form of snow, and out west and a good chunk of further north is still high and dry. But we've got a big pattern flip on the table after we get past the 20th of the month. So if we turn back to the north and look at the teleconnections from the Pacific North American Index, yeah, it's well positive right now. And that's why you're experiencing those well above average temperatures. But you can see the massive dip in the jet stream that's going to be unfolding by the time we get after the 20th of the month. And not only does it dip, it actually remains below normal, for the extended period of time. So really the last 10 days of October, we should be below average in a good chunk of our western states. So if we highlight the overall 500 millibar on the ensemble guidance from the European guidance, we see a drastic difference what you're going to be experiencing over the next couple of days. By the time we get after Thursday, we've got the ridge coming back. We got the southwest winds funneling in. That'll bring the much warmer conditions will really funnel into the central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S., while the big flip is on out west. So all those heat all the well above average temperatures, you can actually say goodbye to them by then, with this huge significant trough really building into our northwest and western states. And then we just have a reinforcing shot with those teleconnections continue to remain negative. That has a reinforcing shot back out west as we extend deeper into October. And there's your temperature anomalies, with the drastic difference is going to be coming after the 20th of the month, with those well above average temperatures from the central and eastern 2/3 and the much colder conditions really funnel in into our northwest and western regions after we get past the 20th. And not only that, we're talking the atmospheric river rains come back as well. So if you look at the relative humidity values with those deep purples really showing up, typically you'd already have the rains by then, but this has not been a typical time frame. But finally, we see the much needed pattern change, and the well above average rains will be coming back for the Pacific Northwest. So if we look at the overall anomalies between the ensemble member guidance of the European guidance between now and then to the end of October, we've got all those welcome rains, and these could be some heavier rains. So surprisingly, we could be looking at 4, 5, 6, 8 inches of rain in just those 10 inches time frame into the Pacific Northwest of Washington and Oregon, and even northern portions of Northern California are going to be seeing those welcome rains coming back in the picture by then. And a lot of this in the mountain regions is going to be in the form of snow. So get ready, ski lovers. The snow is coming back in a vengeance. So once we get past the 20th of the month, all this will be remaining above average out into the central and eastern 2/3. But the big change is going to be on the table once we get past the 20th of the month, with those heavier snows moving in out west. So the ski lovers are going to be loving it. Open up the slopes because we got heavy snow coming into portions of Washington and Oregon, getting back into the Sierra Nevada, getting into Idaho, Montana, get Wyoming, Colorado. All those areas should be seeing some ample amount of snows by the time we get in those last 10 days of October. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.